Actually, did I tell you, Shang? I signed up for Evo. I'm gonna be competing in Dragon Ball Fighters.
I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that, I'm like, man, how did you get such good prices on Dragon Ball Z Fighters? And then I went to Humble Bundle, and then I realized, oh wait, that's where you got it. And I too have Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Wait, you bought it too? We should play later.
I played. Boy, that game is fun.
I played yesterday, and I when I started the game, I didn't know how to do anything. I was just, I have a hitbox, and like I don't know what the buttons on the thing are, so I was just slamming buttons, and like I still don't know what buttons I'm hitting. I just know their position relative to the hitbox, and I'm like, okay, I hit these bottom two buttons, and it does this. Okay, I see. And I'm like over there playing, and I'm like, hey, how do you do this move? And like X and Y, like, what are those?
Oh, they really don't tell you on the hitbox?
No, there's nothing on the hitbox. It's
That's
just
really weird.
It's very minimalistic. I also I signed up for Grand Blue Fantasy Versus and Under Night in Birth latest CLI. I don't even know what the last game's called. I'm kind of excited though. One last ride, like one last ride.
Oh, you said this is gonna be your last ride to Evo, right?
This is gonna be my last Evo, my last competition.
I believe.
We're gonna go all the way home.
We're gonna get there and then drive back. Oh, Evo was nice.
Evo was nice, I just went home. I get the feeling that today's episode is gonna be a wild one.
Naraku reveals his 8th incarnation, Hakudoshi.
Entei the demon horse finds a new master.
InuYasha and the gang search for the final Shikon Jewel Shard.
This podcast episode recaps InuYasha 139 to 146.
My name is Shang.
And my name's Loofie.
And welcome to Anime Rewind.
Welcome to Anime Rewind, the podcast where we revisit animes from our childhood and try to see if they hold up to today or if they should just remain a good memory.
So, I want to talk about the second episode in this group of episodes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice anything? I want to know if you noticed anything.
What did I notice? I noticed that Miroku was a monster and that the demon ninjas were named after... I forgot what they were called.
So what I'm going to throw out there is, did you see that animation quality just jump up to like 100?
No, I didn't notice at all.
Oh no! Because I was like watching the episode, I was like, man, why does everything in this episode look so shiny? Why do all the characters look like they like the ones in the intro? It's so nice, so shiny.
I gotta say though, this filler actually ended, it was actually pretty good. I would say the ending was really lame, but it was not a bad filler.
That ending was pretty lackluster. Hey, we're gonna fight. Wait, I'm changed my mind. What?
Wait, I thought you were talking... That wasn't filler. Princess Abi is not filler.
Oh, is it?
No, I thought you were talking about... Wait, I thought you were talking about the actual filler with Hoshiomi.
At this point, it's all filler.
Oh my god. Yeah, Princess Abi is not actually filler. Princess Abi is actually canon.
We watched so much filler, I can't tell the difference.
We had no filler. Wait, actually, we had 2 episodes of filler in this batch, and they were at the beginning. The rest of the episodes in this batch were all canon. Next episode is all canon, and the episode after this is all canon. Like, our next 2 podcast episodes, all canon. No filler at all.
As he says this, just imagine me in a corner just shuddering from the fact that I can't escape filler.
Shang, are you trapped in an infinite Tsukiyomi?
Ugh.
Wake up, Shang. Wake up, Shang. It's been 30 years. All right. To make this podcast more interactive, we're going to introduce a little fun segment on today's episode. The name is TBA, but I hope you enjoy trivia. So what's going to happen is we're going to ask some questions now, and at the end of today's episode, we will reveal the answers to those questions. Shang, this is what you call listener retention. Actually, you know what? That's the name of our segment.
Listener retention. That feels like, are our listeners listening? Are they really?
Hey, listeners, you want to know the answers to these great, juicy questions? Listen up. So for today's episode, we have 2 questions. So question number 1, what does the name Hakudoshi mean? Question number 2, in what religion are Gozu and Mezu The Gatekeepers of Hell. Now let's stew on that.
That's an easy one. That's a real easy one.
Wait, is it?
No?
Is it?
I think it is.
I don't know.
That first one, I really don't know. Good luck, guys.
Anyway, if you guys listen, you'll probably find out in like 30 minutes or so. So please keep listening to this episode. For this episode, we actually watched InuYasha 139 to 146. We finished up our filler arc that we started last time, and then we got into some crazy new stuff. We got a new Naraku incarnation. We started searching for the final Shikon Jewel Shard. But I feel like what's more appropriate is, why don't we just do a little short summary of the episode arcs that we watched, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. 139 to 140. The Naginata of Kenkon is restored by Hoshiomi. It is revealed he wishes to destroy all humans because he was betrayed by the woman he loved. In the end, it was all a misunderstanding.
Yeah, it was just a misunderstanding. It was actually really lame. He's like, oh, she loved me this whole time. 141 to 142. Kagura and the infant continue to search for the border between life and death, but the infant is split in half and a new Naraku incarnation is born from one of the halves named Hakudoshi, who befriends the demon horse Entei.
That's right, he befriends him. That's right.
No. I didn't say that. I'm editing that part out. Befriend.
143 to 145. InuYasha and gang, along with Hakudoshi and Kagura, discover the final jewel shard is in the afterlife. Their first attempt to retrieve their shard takes them to the realm of fire, where they encounter the gatekeepers Gozu and Mezu.
Actually, you know what? Those guys are cool too. Those guys are cool. They're like, hey, you want to pass? And InuYasha's like, yeah, man, I want to pass. And they're like, okay, let us kill you first. Like,
It's like, whoa, I didn't know that. Whoa.
All right. 146. To collect the final jewel shard, Naraku seeks out Princess Abi to aid him in entering the afterlife. InuYasha and the gang encounter Abi during one of her feeding trips and clash briefly.
It's easy, Naraku. Just die. Duh.
Yeah, that episode was weird. I wonder if there's a continuity to it outside of the batch of episodes we watched. But man, that was just out of left field. I didn't understand what it was for.
It really was. I watched that. I was like, oh, all right, Naraku and Abi meet. Cool. They agree to help each other. Cool. They get into a fight. She's like, never mind. I don't want any of this. I'm out. Give me a second. Put a pause on this.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, so those were the episodes we watched. Overall, not that bad. Not that bad. I would say that it's mostly setup. You know, we're getting ready to find the final jewel shard. And so now the dilemma is, how do you get into the netherworld to get the final jewel shard without dying? And I think we got left on a good cliffhanger, you know, like,
right.
Keeps us guessing. We still got questions. And I hope we get some answers.
I hope so too.
Come on. What's going on? Did Naraku send you? Oh well, too bad, so sad, I guess. So, I suppose you've come here in Naraku's place to lecture me? Hey, where are you going? What about this?
Keep that one. You can protect it.
Huh?
It's his fate. This was all meant to happen.
All right, so for today's first segment, we are going to be talking about Naraku's 8th incarnation, Hakudoshi. So this was interesting to me. I was looking up how many incarnations had been born at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Hakudoshi was number 8. So I tried to like list them off in my head to remember, you know, what 7 came before him. So I had like, you know, Kagura, Kana, Goshinki, Jiromaru, Kageromaru, Muso, and the infant. And I was like, that's 7.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually had to go Google. And apparently in the manga, there is an incarnation that's born when Kikyo cuts off a part of Naraku. It like starts to form and then instantly dies. And apparently that counts as an incarnation, and
Really?
it never appeared in the anime. So I was like, oh, okay. Eighth incarnation, Hakudoshi. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right, cool. So, I remember that the infant was born from, what was it, a mass amount of, like, he wasn't discarded, right? I'm trying to remember this correctly, because I remember it was in Mount Hakure, and then you see all these, like, little things.
Okay, no. You don't know how the infant was born. The infant is just carried away.
Oh, really?
The discarded pieces are the weaker demons that Naraku discarded, but the infant we don't actually see being like born.
I remember the infant being carried away, and then they meet the monk. They split him in half. Kagura takes one, and Kana takes the other. And it's like, okay, obviously something is going to happen. And then next thing you know, you give it a minute, and then he grows up. He just regenerates into an older being of himself. And he is now known as Hakudoshi. Did they really explain how he just became that? You know, the transition from him being a child to, or a baby, into what he is now?
They don't give a actual clear explanation, but you do hear at one point when Kagura brings the two halves of the infant to Kana. Kana says this was meant to happen. And so it's implied that the infant was to be split, and from that, Hakudoshi would be born. Now, what's crazy about Hakudoshi is, like, as his body is forming, like, you see this, like, purple miasma, like, radiate out of his, like, corpse. And it, like, completely ruins the entire, like, mountainside that they're hiding in. And then re-enters his body as if it's, like, energizing him, you know, with the destruction of, like, the water, the trees, and the whatever. And then, like, Hakudoshi's born. And, like, the thing about Hakudoshi is he is pretty much Naraku, but, like, more vile. And he also hates being compared to Naraku, too. And so, like, the reason why I think Hakudoshi is so interesting is that we get to see a little bit of his, like, manipulative and his cruel nature throughout the next few episodes after he's born. We have things like when they encounter Rengokuki, who is riding on the demon horse Entei. And, like, as soon as Entei sees Hakudoshi, Entei just bucks Rengokuki off and is like, hey, I found a new master. And Rengokuki is like, what? No way. I'm your master. And, like, goes up to kill Hakudoshi. And Hakudoshi just wrecks him, like, instantly. Then takes his weapon, takes his horse, and is like, these are mine now.
These are mine now. It's just a setup. I thought Rengokuki was trying to fight Hakudoshi. Ultimately failed. And he's like, the Entei was like, man, this guy isn't strong at all. I like this new guy.
I remember an episode, like, you know, like, Entei, like, just stares at Hakudoshi and is just like, yeah, this one's better. And, like, the lore behind Entei is kind of interesting in the sense that, like, you know, like, the one who rides Entei will rule the world. You know, that's how the lore goes. And so, like, Entei's searching for, like, someone that's worthy. I guess Hakudoshi was worthy. It's this, like, 7-year-old, 6-year-old kid. You're like, yeah, this one's good.
It's like, man, I like him. He looks good. He looks strong. Look, you want to rule the world?
He's got potential. Yeah, you want to rule the world with me?
You're young.
All right, let's do it.
It's just a thought that Entei's just, like, scouting for, all right, who wants to rule the world? Oh, you look good. Come on. Let's try you out.
The 30-day free trial.
Yeah, pretty much.
Later on, Hakudoshi is looking for the final jewel shard, and he begins beheading demons left and right. And, like, he, like, takes these demon heads and, like, puts them to his head, and he, like, sees these, like, visions or whatever. And one of the demons that he kills is this, like, otter demon. Hakudoshi, like, cuts the guy's head off, right? And the head falls into the water and then drifts down a waterfall. And then Hakudoshi's kind of like, oh, I guess I didn't need it. And then he just leaves. They're like, you know, like, slaughter the guy demon, take the spoils. Like, oh, I'll just go find another head, whatever.
I found that episode to be actually really precious.
It actually was not bad. And I feel like Shippo did a pretty good job of not being useless this time.
Right? That's what I said too. He's like, man, out of all, like, the, like, Shippo, like, episodes that involve, like, Shippo more as a main, this one was good. I like this one. He was okay. He was okay.
You know why it was good? Because it wasn't filler.
Dear God. I'm not gonna
Wait a
lie.
second.
I swear that I thought most of these episodes were filler again. I was like stuck in that mindset.
Oh no. I thought I told you none of these were filler. Except for the first two.
I just thought it's like, oh man, it's a coincidence that like, you know, Hakudoshi's in these episodes.
Oh no. Oh no, my boy's broken.
I'm telling you, I'm a broken man now. Help.
Yeah, the crazy thing about Hakudoshi is kind of like he's trying to reach a goal and he kind of just like uses things along the way. He uses things and he uses people along the way. Like the way he speaks to Kagura is kind of just like, hey, go do this. Hey, I need this. Go prep this. And then like he's over there cutting demons' heads off and like the demons are headless and they're rampaging everywhere. Like he doesn't actually even kill the demons. He just cuts their head off and then like goes and like puts them to his head. If he doesn't like it, he throws it to the side or whatever, and then like goes about his business. Like absolutely ruthless. Like it's crazy.
Kinda like Naraku.
Well, the thing is, the difference between Hakudoshi and Naraku is that Naraku doesn't get his hands dirty. He like rarely does anything, you know. But Hakudoshi's like out on the field. He has his is it called the I forgot what the weapon is called. Is it a halberd? It's not a halberd. He's got a weapon, and he's using it to kill people, yeah. Like, he's actually getting, like, blood on his hands, you know? And that's, like, something that Naraku doesn't do. And I feel like that represents the fact that Hakudoshi is probably more evil than Naraku.
In that set, I feel like it's more of, like, a representation of, like, it's Naraku if he actually did something. Because when I compare both of them, they're practically the same. It's just they do it in different ways. Naraku, of course, doesn't do anything. He just has everyone do it for him, and he just tries to get stronger passively, while Hakudoshi's actually trying to make himself better as, you know, the story moves on. But like using people and whatnot, that feels like so true to Naraku because, like you said, he doesn't get his hands dirty in the same way Hakudoshi does that, but he doesn't fully rely on it, you know?
Right. I mean, they're both manipulative in some way. And like speaking of like manipulative, like when he's trying to figure out how to get to the realm of fire, like he knows like, you know, you have to pass through the gate of the living and the dead. And he actually tells like Kagura, like, hey, go test out the gate, you know? And Kagura's like, oh yeah, I'm going to get that jewel shard. And like as the gates open and she gets close, like all the demons that she like has with her start to turn to stone. And that's when Kagura like realizes like Hakudoshi just tried to kill me. Like he just tried to use me to figure out how this gate works because he didn't want to like risk his life. And she gets like super upset, right? She like cuts him in half. But then, like, Hakudoshi shows that he has the ability to build a barrier like Naraku, has the ability to regenerate like Naraku, and Naraku still has Kagura's heart. And so Kagura is still at the mercy of both Naraku and Hakudoshi. Probably not. I mean, I feel like she has, like, the worst job. And not only that, she, like, hates her job.
She really does.
Yeah, but, you know, like, I'm interested to see how Hakudoshi's character develops more. I almost feel like Hakudoshi and Naraku are going to clash in the future just because of how similar they are. And in addition to just how much Hakudoshi hates being compared to Naraku. Like, I feel like there's this drive inside of him. Like, this is my gut feeling, but I feel like there's this drive inside of him that says, like, I'm going to be more than the one who created me. And then I'm going to be the one that kills him.
I feel like any incarnation has that mentality in the end. Like, Kagura's like, I want to be my own being. I want to be set free. Hakudoshi's like, I'm strong too. This man doesn't make who I am. What was that other being that?
Muso?
Yes, Muso. But in the end, they all kind of have that same kind of dilemma. It's like, I don't want to deal with Naraku whatsoever. I'm my own person.
I think it depends on the incarnation. You know, like, Kan is completely, like, fine. Goshinki, Jiromaru, Kageromaru, they were all fine. You know, the infant is fine. The infant's still alive, too, by the way.
Yes.
I think it just depends on the person. But I feel like Kagura is most, like, Kagura and Hakudoshi are most, like, rebellious. In the sense that, like, for Kagura, at least, because she's the wind, she wants to be free, you know, that's what she personifies. But with Hakudoshi, I feel like he just wants to be free because Naraku's getting stronger. He's getting closer to becoming this full demon. And so his incarnations are becoming stronger and having more vile intentions because, I mean, like, what they're being born from are actually stronger demons. At least that's what I'm thinking. But who knows? All speculation at this point. But I do feel like something's gonna go down soon.
I still can't believe that Naraku's incarnation, Hakudoshi, would come out and tell us the location of the last Jewel Shard.
Other than that one, the only ones left are Kohaku's and the ones in Koga's legs. Naraku has the rest of the Jewel Shards, unfortunately. We've got to do whatever it takes to prevent Naraku from getting any more shards.
Now that we know that the final Jewel Shard is in the Netherworld, the quest to enter the Netherworld begins in this set of episodes, and it begins with the infant when he is placed on the priest Shinsen. He sees a land of white mist and demon bones, but Shinsen's also the one that splits him in half, so then, like, you know, you get split in half and you can't do that anymore. From there, Hakudoshi is born, and as Hakudoshi cuts off the heads of demons and places them against his head, he continues to see this land of white mist and demon bones. He can't figure out what this is, so he eventually goes to InuYasha's group and is like, hey, you guys know a place about white mist and demon bones? And InuYasha is like, oh man, I think that's where my dad lives. I mean, that's where my dad was buried, you know? And so, like, he manipulates InuYasha to go to talk to Hosenki, who created a black pearl that was stored in InuYasha's eye that took him to the gravesite in the past. But then Hosenki is dead. Hosenki's son is taking forever to make new ones. And so then Hakudoshi is like, hey, I know a place. It's called the Realm of Fire. You can get to the other side from there. And InuYasha, being the, like, simple-minded person he is, he's like, I'm going to the Realm of Fire. And that's really where, like, these episodes take us. It all culminates in the climax when we stand before the gate of hell, facing Gozu and Mezu. And they look at InuYasha and they're like, you want to pass, bro? And InuYasha's like, hell yeah, I do. And
but
then
you
like,
gotta die. Oh. Can I? No? Can we not? Too late. You said yeah.
Yeah, and then Kagura's like, I'm going in, suckers. Oh, everyone's dying. I don't want to go in anymore.
Oh man, that's weird. Why is everyone dying? Crazy.
What's gonna be crazy though is they're gonna have to come back to this gate, right? Like, this is the only way into the Netherworld. And the question that's being posed now is, like, how are they going to get past Gozu and Mezu, and how are they going to not die?
Okay. Maybe I have to just shut off my brain for this one. But they destroyed the Shikon Jewel, and then they went to hell to get the Tetsaiga, right?
Yeah.
So, did they explain why she couldn't sense it before? Or was it because she wasn't powerful enough to sense it?
Maybe it was in a different location of hell. I mean, we don't know.
Because they were there before, I would think she would sense it, but then I would think maybe she's just not powerful enough. I'll give them a slap on the wrist. I'll just say that, because when I saw that, it's like, that doesn't seem really consistent with, like, everything that's happened so far.
I mean, with consistency, like, how does a jewel shard end up in hell anyways? Like,
right, which is what I thought. It's like, well, that's really weird. It was shattered. How does it get in these places, you know? Like, okay, just turn off the brain. I'll just accept it.
Right, it's like, you know, the jewel shatters and, like, I don't know, some guy was coming back from his vacation from hell and little sparkle just passes by and like, oh, what was that? Oh, okay.
I remember we talked about before, is that when the jewel shard got destroyed, so many things happened. So many different things happened dealing with the jewel shard.
Right, and so fast. You know what? Rumiko Takahashi, do your thing. We won't question it. We're just here for the ride, you know?
I guess it got shattered so hard that one shard just went to hell. You know, I'll take it.
No, some guy was coming back from his hell vacation and it zoomed by his eyes. They're like, oh, what's that?
Where'd you go, man? I was on my hellcation. What?
We'll get the backstory soon enough.
All right.
So, I mean, in addition to that jewel shard, like, there's only 3 other jewel shards out there. So, like,
Which is kind of crazy because it's we were hunting for jewel shards everywhere. Now it's just like one's in hell, one's in this boy, and 2 are in this guy's leg. So close.
yeah. And you know what's funny is InuYasha, I believe at this point in time in the manga was like 75% done. So, like, the last quarter of the series is just essentially 4 jewel shards. I think. I think.
The fact that 3 of them aren't that bad, and 1 is like Kohaku, it's like, man, how is that gonna end? I'm so curious. Is Naraku just gonna rip it out? Alright, he's dead. Or there's just gonna be like a really sad moment.
Yeah, that's definitely a good question. That's definitely something that I'm looking forward to seeing resolved just with Kohaku. Like, how is it gonna happen? It's definitely gonna be sad, man. Definitely gonna be sad. We already saw Kikyo die. That was super sad. I don't know how sad Kohaku is gonna be, but like, it's gonna be sad.
Kohaku, no. No, you were my favorite computer. Oh.
Yeah, it's time to shut him down one last time.
I don't want that. I don't want that to happen. I wasn't ready.
This is the spot where InuYasha and I first met. Of course, that was 500 years ago, during the feudal era. The tree. That means I'm practically home. Huh? Is that a boy? And it all began right here.
All right, so best episode, worst episode of this batch. For me, I feel like the best episodes were the ones where Hakudoshi was born, so I'm gonna say 142. The worst episode I would say is 146 because I just didn't understand why it was there. But like, I love Hakudoshi. He's my favorite incarnation of the 8 that we've seen so far, with Kagura being a close second. So I just love seeing the interactions between those two, even though it's like very one-sided. But I'm just really glad we finally reached this point and he's here because I have been waiting. And then Princess Abi, I don't know who she is. I don't care.
Right. I will second that 146 is literally like off key. I didn't get it, so I didn't like it. And then I enjoyed, what was it, 143? Or yeah, 143 was the otter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoyed 143. I liked it. It was pretty wholesome. And it was really weird seeing Sashomaru there at the end. It was like, all right, I'm not going to help you. Wait, my sword glows. All right, I'm going to help you.
Oh, I guess that the sword says so. Here you go.
Right?
Dude, Sashomaru is like a whole story on his own. I think we should talk about him someday. He's changed a lot since we first met him.
Sure.
All right, so I think our listeners have waited long enough. Let us reveal the answers to today's listener retention quiz.
Drum roll, please.
Okay, give me a drum roll.
Done.
Perfect. There was nothing. It was dead silence.
We're just gonna add that in, right? Maybe.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it in post.
Yes.
So, Hakudoshi means white child.
What? Really?
Apparently, I mean, Haku, I guess means white. Doshi, I don't get. I didn't see it coming. I thought it meant something else. I don't know. It could have meant like demon spawn of the devil or something. The way he acts.
Right.
And then the religion that Gozu and Mezu originate from is actually Japanese Buddhism, which I guess is, kind of obvious when you think about it, but like I wouldn't have known.
See, I was gonna say Hindu, but I'm okay with that, yeah.
But yeah, there's our answers. I hope you enjoyed playing along. Please come back next episode for another set of exciting trivia questions.
And if you were correct, you win 10,000 imaginary points. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Let's not promise them anything, not even imaginary points. Like, what if we can't even think of that many points, like when you think of the word 10,000, like how many numbers is that? That's so many.
So as a homework to take home from this podcast, what does 10,000 points mean to you?
Oh God. All right. So since we are an anime podcast, we here at Anime Rewind want to promote and recommend other great animes that you can enjoy. For me, this episode, I want to recommend an anime I watched back in like the mid 2010s. I think it was 2005, 2006. It's called Erase. It's a 12 to 13 episode long series. It follows the story of a guy who like gets sent back in time to prevent the death of his like mother or something like that. And then like, it's crazy. There's time travel, there's murder, there's mystery. I love it. It's one of my favorite series of all time, so I highly recommend it.
So mine. Okay, so we had a talk about sport anime at some point in time, and I was like, man, I like Prince of Tennis, but I'll save that. Haikyuu is pretty cool. Everyone loves it, especially with the new season coming out. Everyone's been going back into it. But you know what? I went back and I watched that basketball anime. What is it called? I can't remember it right now. Kiriko Basketball?
Oh, you want to talk about I don't even know what it's called either. Kuroki no Basket. Wait, Shang, did you not come prepared?
I remembered it. I just don't remember the name.
I'm gonna Google it for you. It's called Kuroko's Basketball. There you go.
Because I remember we were talking about Prince of Tennis. Like you had brought it up in like the Discord, and it's like, oh man, yeah, that was cool. And I remember somebody talking about Haikyuu. It's like, man, that's cool too. It's like, you know what? I want to watch something that's pretty exciting as well, but I want to watch something that I haven't watched. And I saw Kuroko no Basketball. It's like, man, this is really goddamn. It's really epic basketball. It's really out there. And I watched a couple of snippets of it. It's, it's a slice of life, kind of, where, it's guys in a high school and dealing majorly with basketball, but they're like so into it. They're so into it. It's like watching like a Dragon Ball Z fight within basketball. It's so intense. So if you're ever in a need to watch like a sports anime, of course, watch Prince of Tennis, because that's good. Haikyuu, of course, it's great. There's a new season out. But I would also recommend Kuroko's Basketball.
Man, look at this boy, low-key dropping 3 recs in one episode. Don't wear yourself out, Shang. You guys, thank you so much for listening and for your support as always. Thank you for retweeting, shouting us out on Twitter. Thank you for sharing this podcast with your friends and family. It means the world to us. Our next episode will be out March 3rd, and in it we will be covering InuYasha 147 to 154. So we hope to see you guys all there. And until next time, my name's Loofie.
And my name is Shang.
And remember, commando until proven not commando.
僕らにどんな世界が道なき道の先に待ってる声なき声はこのままどこにも届かずに消えてゆくの忘れない消せない今日の後悔も投げ捨てがむしゃらに明日を目指す朝日に照らされたキス笑い合って終わることない旅を続けよう向かい風としていながらそれでも進む理由があるだから友よ置いてくためだけに生きるのはまだ早いだろう身につけたもの抱え込んだもの手放した時始まる何かうまく生きてくレシピを破り